Hey everybody, it's SoBlezz and welcome back to my channel. Today we have another garden symbolism video and I want to talk to you about getting grounded, lessons from the garden. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know they say that gardening connects you to nature, right? Yeah, that's right. It connects you to the bugs, it connects you to the dirt, it connects you to the occasional worm that pops up out of a pot or a raised bed like it's their home. Well, it is their home. And we got to share nature with nature's creatures. So, honestly, that's maybe a little bit harder than it sounds, right? When you put your time, your energy, your money into growing food for yourself, your family, your friends, and then you have a part of nature, nature's creatures that want to share with you what you have invested in. But that's the way it is. It's all connected. We must share with nature what nature produced. Gardening reminds us that we're a part of this big, messy, natural world. Plants grow, flowers bloom, seasons change, and we're just trying not to kill the basil, even though it's November, and basil does what basil does in November. But we're still trying to hang on to the basil, right? Without just letting it go because it's run its natural cycle. And I know that's a lot harder than it sounds to just let it go and let nature do what nature do. So you've been nurturing plants for months, watering them, talking to them, and even Googling and doing these plant picture searches to find out what's wrong with your plants. Why does my plant look so sad? And what do you get in return? You get droopy leaves and judgment. Judgment from whomever is looking at your plants and determining the state of their health. I declare, plants can sense when you're not on top of things. Yes, they're like, oh, so you think this is a hobby, huh? You think this is a hobby? Watch me dramatically, for no reason, kick the can. But you know what's really wild? Plants, they don't really need us. I found that out just recently when I abandoned my garden for a month for a family situation that I needed to deal with. And I came back, some plants had kicked the can. A lot of them had thrived, or you could say survived at least. And I was pleasantly surprised at how many and which ones actually did. And I shared some of those on some of the shorts that I did recently. But if you're interested, you can go back and look at those shorts. Surviving a month without me. But the second you step in, they are really like, oh, great. Here comes that over-waterer again, meaning you. Here comes that over-fertilizer again. Or this person thinks she can fertilize me for every 2 weeks for 2 months, and then she just disappears. Nature doesn't care about our schedules either. You're out here yelling at them tomato plants, you're yelling at the cucumber plants, whatever you got growing at the time. You want them to grow faster. I need that salsa by Saturday. What's wrong with these tomatoes? Why won't they ripen up? And those tomatoes are like, I don't work for you, Karen. I'm not on your timeline, honey. But seriously, gardening does teach us at least one thing, and that's patience, right? You can't rush it. You plant a seed and then you wait and you wait and you wait some more. Meanwhile, you're out there every day like, anything yet? Are you going to germinate? It's like watching water boil, but with dirt, right? And when something finally sprouts or something pops up, it's like winning the lottery. Looky, somebody, come look at this. Never mind that it might just be a weed that's sprouting up. Speaking of weeds, can we talk about weeds for a second? Yeah, them weeds. Well, they grow anywhere, don't they? They grow in the cracks of the sidewalks. They grow in your driveway. That one spot in the garden where you didn't plant anything, there's a weed that pops up. Meanwhile, this thing you've been watering for weeks might just kick the can on you if the wind blows too hard. Weeds are basically those trolls of the plant world. They're annoying, they're persistent, and always showing up where they're not wanted. But here's the thing about weeds, right? They're that one thing that reminds us that we're not in control. And that's a big part of gardening. You can't have that you can have that perfect plan, you can have the best tools, and nature will still do its own thing. It's humbling. Like when you spend hours planting a beautiful garden bed and then a squirrel shows up and digs it all up. Nice try, loser. I'm kidding, but sometimes we feel like that, right? When things just don't go our way. And those squirrels, they can be the ultimate garden villain. Yes, they're out there burying their acorns in our flower pots. They're stealing our strawberries and looking you dead in the eye and say, "What you gonna do about it?" Ooh, one day, I'm gonna catch a squirrel and make it replant everything it took out of my garden. But then there's the weather. Oh, gardening really makes you realize how much of life is out of your hands. Too much rain and your plants drown. Not enough rain and they start to dry out. And then there's that one time you do remember to water your garden on schedule and it rains the next day. Doggone it. It's like nature's trolling us, right? Well, that's the thing about gardening. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and sometimes it's heartbreaking. But it's also beautiful. You get to be part of something bigger than yourself. You're not just growing plants, you're connecting with earth, with the seasons, with life itself. You really do have an appreciation for the change of seasons and what that offers you. Plus, you get free therapy. It's nothing better than out there pulling up weeds or old plants after you've been cut off in traffic during the day. So we're just going to consider that free therapy. And let's not forget about those animals. I mentioned the squirrels, but what about the birds, the bees, the butterflies? They all show up in your garden like they booked an Airbnb. They're supposed to be there. Yeah, so you planted flowers, did you? Cool, we'll take it from here. You start to notice how everything works together, basically. The bees pollinate the flowers, the worms, they help aerate your soil, and the squirrels, well, the squirrels, they're just jerks. They're just there. Sometimes it feels like the squirrels are just there to toy with you. You get the idea. Gardening also teaches you that everything is connected. Not just patience, but teaching you that everything is connected. What you do on your little patch of soil, it matters. When you plant a flower, it feeds the bees. When you compost, you're giving back to the earth. And when you yell at a tomato plant, well, that just sometimes feel good. So here's to gardening and to life. May we all get our hands dirty, live in harmony with those weeds, and remember that even when things feel chaotic, we're part of something amazing. Because at the end of the day, whether you're growing vegetables, flowers, or just trying to keep a house plant alive, you're connecting to nature. And if nothing else, honey, at least you got an excuse to yell at a tomato plant. Cheers to staying grounded, literally.